Hello everybody, it's Mimberly and welcome back to the channel. We're playing a new game today. We're playing Spell Candle. Now, as of uploading this video, this is currently on Kickstarter, trying to fund to become a full game. So, after this video, please go check out their Kickstarter. The link will be in the description. So we can try and support this game, because, you know, we love to, support smaller developers. But this is from a company called Bottled Monster Inc. And they actually reached out to me on TikTok and asked me to play their game. Now, the reason I've been putting this off for so long was just purely because I wanted to get some other things done first. And I wanted to kind of gauge more about the game before stepping into it. Now, from what I've read, it's basically a grief coping mechanism in a 2D romance visual novel. Now, we've done visual novels on the channel before, so, you know, this is something we're completely familiar with. You take on the role of a foreign correspondent who's turned investigator for magical crimes, which we have to uncover the culprit behind the mysterious disappearance of a sleeping god. And there seems to be 4 love interests in this one, so I have purposely been keeping under the wraps, though every time she does come up on TikTok, I will admit I do like them, so we get more posts of them. But enough talking, let's get into it, because I've been curious for this. Oh, I'm already liking like the artistic style here. How far are you willing to go to contain war in a glass dome? How many parents would you be willing to sacrifice? How many brothers would you kill? Would you grow numb to the pain? Become a zealous leader, willing to sacrifice anything for the greater good? Turn a blind eye to the orphans on the streets? Ignore those disabled begging for coin? Steal, bribe, and extort for a chance at peace? How many decisions would leave you lying awake at night, counting the souls you've sent to slaughter? Can living in war for millennia truly be considered life? Well, that's an ominous beginning, isn't it? A loud whistle breaks the silence, rendering the carriage to a sudden stop. The tip of my quill shatters as it smashes into the paper before I can put down my next thought on the page. Identity control. The shout comes from the outside, and I put my notepad down, scoffing at the ruined nib. This is the 3rd one today, and I'm tempted to throw my hands up in frustration and scream. I was selected to be the Artisan's delegation's reporter for this year's Dread Festival. It should be considered a great honor to be able to report on your country's political victories, no matter how small. But you can't expect a caged bird to sing happily. I reach into my leather satchel and find my identification documents before stepping out onto my petite carriage. I feel pleased by the chance to stretch my legs, annoyed that I have to go through this, curious to finally get a peek at the outside, or enthusiastic that we've likely almost reached our destination. I'm enthusiastic. Just a few feet ahead, an elven woman is going through the papers of an older gentleman from our contingent. And what role do you fulfill within this delegation? Her voice is like the sharp point English is not my first language. Her voice is like the sharp pointed end of an ancient spear. I am the senator representing the region of the Beastlands. The elf sniffs the air around the delegate and frowns. She's beautiful. Glimmering mercury eyes peek out from underneath short bangs the color of milky quartz. Her skin, like deep iron ore, glitters gently in the rays of daylight. After a very thorough read of the man's identification documents, she hands them back to him without a word. I find myself nervous as the elf's long, knife-like ears twitch and her attention shifts to me. I'd never seen anything like it. Her cold gaze examines me from head to toe before she reaches a hand out. Identification documents? I hand them over and she scans through them quickly. Okay, Mimberly. Choose your pronouns. Okay, that's cool. They let you choose your pronouns. Obviously, I identify as she, her. And what role do you fulfill within this delegation? I'm here to report on the mutually beneficial... Oh, God. Okay, right. So I was selected by the Empire to take an account of the Dread Festival for an article. I'm here to report on the mutually beneficial relationship between our nations. I will be writing a positive piece about Quillar's leadership, or I plan to record our general's involvement in foreign affairs for our newspapers. I think we were here to take into account about the Dread Festival, so I'm going to say that. Her eyebrows raised slightly at my response. After a moment, she nods, accepting my explanation. And General, where could I find him? The question perplexes me. Though the delegation had been traveling for several weeks, I hadn't encountered the infamous Shadow Master once. Had I? Upon seeing my bewildered expression, the elf offers a small explanation. He was not in his carriage. Perhaps he got bored of being confined in a turbulent box for days. A voice responds before I can open my mouth to formulate an apology. I step back from the carriage and seek out its source. Okay, we're off to a strong start. Hello. Upon the wooden roof of my small carriage relaxed one of the most beautiful gentlemen I had ever seen. With his eyes closed, his expression was so serene that I found myself wondering if I'd misheard him speak. Shadow Master, may day and night preserve you. That's the Shadow Master? Oh, these other three are got some competition. The man on the roof of my carriage opened his eyes and leveled the woman with a cold gaze. His eyes were the color of the fangs of our empire. The color of blood and dangerous, forbidden things. Oh god, right. I'm gonna hide my webcam so you guys can like properly see him here, but oh my lord. In fact, you know what? Just for the sake of this video, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm going to shimmy my webcam this way, just so that way, and then obviously I can go off of this monitor, then you guys can see what I'm looking at a bit more thoroughly. I could hear the elven woman swallow from beside me so vividly that I wondered if the world around us had fallen quiet on purpose. May I please see your documents, General? A frown crossed his features before he quietly sat up, slid his feet over to the edge of the carriage, and jumped down with the grace of a cat. Oh, I like this one. Here. He pushed a stack of documents that was so thick into the hands of the elf that it made me gape. It might take you a few days. He smirked, and I wondered where on himself he kept a pocket large enough to hold all that paper. The elf blinked, scanned through the first few pages, and then flipped through the next few with shaky hands, her face growing paler by the second. Peek into the papers and keep watching him. Oh! I want to kind of keep watching him. The political leader of our delegation crosses his arms behind his back, his expression neutral as he scans the surrounding environment. I felt my breath hitch as his gaze passes over me for a split second. The elf suddenly thrusts the pages back at the general and gives him a shaky nod and thank you before wobbling off to the next carriage. Was that necessary? The man's notorious crimson gaze turns to me. She asked for my papers. He shrugs. It wasn't my fault she wasn't ready for what was on them. Somehow, this behavior does little to surprise me. It might have been considerate to let her know beforehand or fall silent. It might have been considerate. And why would I do that? His eyebrows rose in challenge, and I found myself searching for a response to give him. Because you're the Shadow Master. You think the ever-powerful elven aspects don't know which general is being sent into their city as a peace tribute every year? I blink at his response. That's fair. An uncomfortable silence falls over us, and I notice the way his gaze wanders down below my waist, scrutinizing me. A frown crosses his lips. I follow his eyes and... fuck. The inkwell I had left on the seat beside me must have spilled when the carriage came to a sudden halt. He is staring pointedly at a large black stain on the side of my pants. I hope you're not planning on wearing that to the welcome dinner. Of course not! I highly suggest not embarrassing yourself or the Empire by doing so. Everything about this man was irritating. I won't. The look he gave me was one of complete apathy. I grit my teeth. A loud, high-pitched whistle travelled from the gates ahead of us. Someone has given us the all clear. The clicking of metallic hinges echo in the air, and I take it as my sign to return to the peace of my soul carriage. I hope you have a good day, General. There wasn't a single sincere word in that sentence. He raised a set of eyebrows as I stepped into my carriage. Making sure to avoid the spilled ink, I turned around and shut the door in his face. A childish reaction, but his expression was well worth it. With blood pounding in my ears, I find a clean space to sit before the carriages resumed its movement shortly after, entering Omnus, the city of candle wax. Very, very pretty. I love the artistic style, first off, and so far this is really intriguing me. The capital city of the elves. I find myself eagerly peeking out through the window, making a continuous effort to forget the fact that I may have just angered one of the most dangerous men on the eastern continent. My eyes wander between the many tall buildings made of marble, adorned with golden embellishment, before lingering on the rectangular houses with roofs assembled from slabs to multicolored quartz. They're illuminated by the withdrawing river of light, the path of the goodness of the goddess of day. All structures bask in the warm rays, colouring in various shades of brilliant oranges and golds. It is a breathtaking view. We pass under a long archway of stone upon which I can hear the bubbling of running water. Dozens of half-burnt candles of sun-dried colours and sizes sit atop each visible surface. I find myself itching to see what these streets look like at night. My thoughts quickly bring me back to the journal in my lap. Quickly, I fetch a new quill from my bag and note down my initial impressions. After several days of travel, our delegation has finally arrived at Omnus, the legendary elven capital. The gates were guarded strictly, and our official documents and identities were checked for validity. This year, the Great Empire's leading envoy for the peace celebrations is the Shadow Master. He sports a unique brand of charm that inspires the awe of everyone around him, like a hurricane or some other horrible natural disaster. He has a way with words. I am blessed to be able to experience the elven's exultation when around him. At least I'm not the only one terrified of this monster. We meander through the roads for another 20 minutes before our carriage comes up to a final stop in front of the only building that looks terribly out of place. Oh gosh, that looks gorgeous. The tall rectangular propaganda that serves as the Eris Empire's embassy at Omnus. As I disembark, I spot the general already disappearing past the red curtains. He doesn't spare me a glance. Oppressive prick. I'm given a small but pleasantly furnished room in the embassy and quickly ditch my pack in there before heading out into the city. I need to find a tailor somehow. I ask around, I follow a trail of the most expensive looking buildings, I tag over the most lavishly dressed elves on the main street, I take a map from the city from the embassy to help me orient. Okay, right, so realistically, this is just me talking here. As somebody who's got social anxiety, I would be doing everything in my power to not speak to anybody. But I am terrible at also reading a map. So I'm going to say that I follow a trail of the most expensive looking buildings. Because that's probably what I would actually do. I take a few moments to observe the structures around the street and quickly note that the city's neighborhoods are distinguishable by their architecture. The most lavish looking one stretches to my right, so I head in that direction. It takes me about 15 minutes of walking and skulking around weird alleyways before I spot a sinage-clothed structure of rose marble. Two golden curtains embroidered with large designs of a spool with pink string hung from around its wide open double doors. Dark letters spell out the words, "The Hour of the Golden Ones," right above the entrance of the building. The gentle strum of a mandolin come from inside. Heart-wrenching, intense, soulful, and yet somehow welcoming. I step inside, yet I find myself incapable of spotting a single worker. At least not until three shadows of varying sizes shift from behind a pattern of curtains. They speak in some language I do not recognize. Wait patiently until I am noticed or call out. I'm gonna wait. I wait quietly, watching the outline shift behind the curtains that sway at the mercy of the wind. A customer? The medium shadow queries. Smells like it. The smallest silhouette, short and stubby, moved to face my direction, its voice high-pitched and snippy. Now is not a good time. I frowned, but I wasn't about to give up that easily. I need an outfit for a party tonight at the Arisian Embassy. Please. I kept my tone polite, but I knew an undertone of desperation had slipped in. I didn't want to see the General's smug expression directed at me tonight. A short silence followed, filled only by the gentle strum of the mandolin. We are very busy, and... A predatory growl erupted from behind the caravan. Help her! The command rolled through the chamber with a low rumble. I felt myself tense as the tallest figure turned to face me from behind the curtain. But Natra. The growl grew louder. As you wish, Natra. The tone was relevant, obedient. Language now fully switched to common. That growl scared the shite out of me. The caravan of curtains rustled as a short elf that looked to be within the late years of his lifespan stepped out to help me. Right this way. I was quickly led behind another small caravan. I am Cupio, one of the designers of the Hour of the Golden Ones, and your extra hand to look your best today. Will you be needing help undressing? The question caught me off guard. I refused, scandalized by the proposal, I refused politely. We're going to be nice. I refused politely. Thank you for the offer, but I am accustomed to dressing myself. Cupio nods, surprisingly accepting of my choice. Very well then. I will see what we will have that will fit your body while you disrobe. Drape yourself in the plush blanket on the Dravenport if you're feeling bare. And do not be concerned, we change them after each client that refuses to take it home with them. Before I could process his words, the elf had already made his way outside of my changing area. It didn't take long before several beautiful outfits were brought to me. Cupio made it his mission to look everywhere but at my body as he delivered them and exited. His regard for my wishes put me at ease as I tried on the outfits one by one. Do any of these suit your fancy? A racy blue and white draped dress with a beautiful belt made of pearls, a conservative black cotton toga that sticks to my curves/muscles, a leather two-piece, a blouse and matching pants accented with golden bracelets and rings, or a ceremonial red and white robe of silk and a black embroidered sash. Ooh, okay, right, well, black and reds are my favorite color, but I also really do like the color blue. No surprise there. So, I'm kind of torn between the first one and the last one. I'm gonna say the red and white robe. This looks like something one of the generals would wear back home if they held their conclaves. Fancy, formal, yet not overly conspicuous. The pretty embroidery of the dark sash seemed to tell the myth of the sun mice, an ancient story of how the little man outsmarted the goddess shadows. This outfit felt comforting and brought a smile to my lips. A great choice! The tailor appraises the way the item of clothing sits upon my frame. Is this outfit to your liking? Yes. Lovely. Now please follow me to the lockbox. I nod and exit through the heavy curtains to join the small elf at the pay desk, not expecting the looming figure that pushed past the caravan across from mine. Oh, the general's now got competition. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, not the nip piercings. Okay, Mim, calm down. I find myself face to chest with a being unlike any I've ever seen before. A tall cross between the man and monster with a powerful body and a rich skin tone. As I look up at him, his eyebrows jump in surprise before his lips twist into a tameless smile. Seems like I made the correct choice. Excuse me? Getting you dressed. His voice was like a low purr, and I found my cheeks heating as he made a show of admiring my outfit of choice. You're stunning. I thank you. A large 12 swishes back and forth behind him as he tilts his head to one side. Do you make a habit of helping others out? Unfortunately, I don't have the time for such noble work. Lately, the only people I happen to assist are my subordinates by doing the stacks of paperwork on my desk. They've had to change that darn thing nearly 3 times already this year. Are you a public servant of some kind? Pretty much. His bold outfit choice made me assume that he was a famed exotic dancer or performer. The thought made my mind travel in a direction that was anything but innocent, so I was almost glad when he changed the topic. Now, to do my job as public servant by covering your bill. Huh? Giving me little chance to respond, the creature moved to stand in front of the tailor. I can pay for myself. That would be 250 gold. My coin purse suddenly felt too light. In the Eris Empire, that much money could buy 5 cottages and a defensible small tower, depending on the military region. Could you repeat the sum for me? 250 gold. Were these clothes going to work, clean, and cook instead of me or something? I found myself staring down at my chosen outfit with new doubts. Maybe I'd just try and clean the ink spill with some hot water and salt. Just put it on my tab, Cupio. As you wish, Natura. Oh, he's the one who growled. Oh God. Okay, I did not put the growl together. The elf bowed politely as I turned to face the creature behind me. His smile caught me off guard. I know he senses the way I want to complain, to fight back against his generosity. Bearing in mind we just met, this is too much. I hurriedly stepped even closer to Cupio, who looked between me and the tall man, now behind me uncertainly. Do you always fight back this hard when someone tries helping you out? He's good. Oh, he's cute when he smiles as well. I know I've given him a weird look when his smile widens, showing off a pair of sharp top canines. Yes. An amused hum leaves his lips, and I find myself wondering what it is he gleaned from this curt line of questioning. This isn't a battle you need to fight. Your purchase is on me. Consider it a gift from the terror of the elves. I freeze in place as the creature crosses his arms in front of his chest, refusing to take no for an answer. His lion-like tail swishes back and forth as if taunting me to attempt to refuse his kindness. This man was the Terror, the demigod leader of the city of Thebes and the chosen of the earth element. And he just paid for a ridiculously overpriced item of clothing. For me. Alright. The intensity of his gaze lessened before he nodded towards the clothing on my body. Pretty things suit pretty people. Consider it a party favor. You are a guest of the Dredge Festival, right? I nod, and he gives me a brilliant grin. Then please make yourself at home in our city. The words "a million people would kill for this chance" echo in my mind, and I find myself smiling back at the demigod. Thank you. It is my duty, and incidentally, my pleasure. I find my cheeks heating a bit at his tone. Yeah, she's not the only one. I should be on my way. Of course. I'll be seeing you tonight then. I pick up my old clothes and my pack before bidding Cupio and the Terror the most dignified goodbye I could muster. Now, what did the way back to the embassy look like? I start retracing my steps, but quickly find myself unable to deny the itch to put words on paper over my recent encounter. Compared to the capital of the Ares Empire, the elven city of Ominous is beautiful but chaotic. The architecture I see as I walk the streets is awe-inspiring, but the structure of the city itself is incomprehensible. I wonder what this special architects were thinking when they planned this place. The urban design is amateurish when compared to the organized construction of our capital city. My thoughts then wander to the terror of the elves, to his warm smiles and overly accommodating sentiments. Nobody had ever covered a bill for me before purely out of kindness. I can't help but wonder what price I'd have to pay for it in return would be. I frown and structure my thoughts on the demigod of the earth. My first impression of Terror of the Elves is that he seems to live in his own world. I've never once spotted any of our 9 generals are out shopping for clothes mere hours before an event as important as the Dread Festival. Then again, if the tower is as rich as the legends say he is, I shouldn't be surprised that he throws money around at pompous stores with ridiculously inflated price tags. I feel my chest grow heavy with guilt over the words I put down. We've been taught to always show the strengths of our empire, throwing mud at the reputation of others in order to do so. However, has never been my favourite thing to do. I exhale and look up from my page and quill, needing a distraction from my treacherous thoughts. It comes quickly, as I do not recognise the street I'm walking on. Multitasking is not always as easy as it seems. The marble and quartz are lost, instead replaced by simple one-floor stone buildings decorated with all kinds of dried plants, bones, and pitch black velvets. Or black velvet curtains. I don't know why I made up that word, sorry. The streets seem deserted. The air feels oppressive. Unlike the other parts of town, soft lavender and green candles lay lit around the streets, as though there is heavy darkness here that dims all other colours and needs to be warded off. Silence stretches over me in a way that has me glancing back at my shadow. I don't know why, but this place reminds me of some of the worst moments in my life. The passing of my late parents, a terrible breakup with an abusive ex, a near-death experience I suffered through, or the loss of a friend in the yearly wars. I'm going to say a terrible breakup with an abusive ex, because that's the one I can relate the most to. An experience that changed me, left a void in my chest. It is difficult to express what the loss of self feels like after you've broken down so thoroughly by someone you considered a partner. A wave of sadness hits me with such strength that I have to rub the tears from my eyes as I walk. I hate it. I hate the reality of a mortal. That life has a beginning and an end. How cruel is that? How cruel were the gods that made us like this? I take a deep breath and focus on the teachings of the Ares Empire, the way to fight back the demons that attempt to conquer you. I need to keep myself occupied and focus on the things at hand. I need to take everything step by step. Turn back and try to trace your steps. I turn back around, attempting to recall the turns I made and the features of buildings I may have noticed. Nothing sticks out. There is no landmark that feet led me to, or that my eyes recognize. Haven't I already been on the street? I feel as though I'm being watched. I find myself constantly glancing around at the vacant windows and empty street corners. Oh my god, we're getting emotional now, ain't we? A cold chill climbs up my back as I reach a few doors without windows or candles. Was this elven magic or all just in my head? Was someone playing tricks on me? When I stop to readjust my pack, I feel something wet hit my forehead. Oh no. The darkening skies up above surprise me, and I barely have a moment to blink before I'm caught in a downpour. The rain is so heavy and cold that if I don't hide somewhere quick, I'm sure I'll be sick during tonight's banquet. Shit. At this rate, my notes will be ruined. I break into a run, looking for shelter from the downpour. The only place I manage to find on such short notice is underneath a small staircase. I'm forced to squeeze in underneath, pulling my feet to my chest. As a British person, I can say I hate the rain. I've always found it depressing, preferring baking in the sunlight for hours instead. With a downpour like this, it seemed as if the sky itself was crying. For the first time in my life, I found the sky's unruliness almost unfair. By force of habit, I find myself closing my eyes and listening to the sounds of raindrops as they hit the cement. I breathe in the I can't English. A particular and allow its familiar smell to calm me. Despite my feelings, I find my earlier unease evaporating, melting away with the minutes. Doggo? I open my eyes to the sound of a bark and find a small puppy tilting its head at me. When I blink again, however, I find that I must have imagined it. Oh, okay. What stands before me is a tall man dressed from head to toe in black. His 4 eyes are a startling green, greener than the purest jadeite. Somehow, he sticks out from within the gloom of the surrounding environment, perhaps because of the lit white candle that gleams in the lantern he holds up toward me. He surveys me silently, unbothered by the rain falling from the sky. His gaze lingers a beat too long on my ears. A sound like an exasperated scoff escapes him before he moves his cape to one side. It takes me a moment to realize that he is offering to share. Come on. I am not sure how I managed to hear a voice so gentle above the downpour. Let's get you out of this rain. I should refuse. Something about strangers in danger. However, this man and his calm, gentle presence reassured me of my safety in a way no one else had. Perhaps it was magic? And did it truly matter if I was bespelled? If I managed to get to the banquet in time? With a nod, I quickly moved from neath the cold staircase to under the unfamiliar man's cape. I am pleased to find that it is much warmer and larger than it looks. I hear you are an ambassador of the Ares Empire. Once again, I am surprised I can hear him. Something of the sort. His gaze lingers on me for a moment too long. Though he says nothing, he reaches his lantern forward, and I gather that we should move on. The streets are accumulating water at such a pace that the sewage system does not seem capable of handling it. At first, I do my best to avoid the gathering puddles and streams of water carrying away dust and grime. Though the task is difficult and my feet should be soaked through the shoes and socks, I am surprised to find that I don't walk into the puddles. I walk over them. As though an invisible barrier has been created between myself and the cold water accumulating on the streets. When I glance back at the man leading me, I notice the way the rain bounces away from him. Ask him how he's keeping you both dry or remain quiet. I'm gonna remain quiet. I'd never encountered someone with such a countenance before. Somehow, he manages to both blend in with the current gloom and stand out from it. He tilts his head forward toward the sky as if attempting to gauge if it will cease raining soon, then sighs. I apologize. Once again, it takes me a moment to catch his voice. I find how easy it is to miss and alarming. Are you apologizing for the rain? Yes, it appears Aqua chose the opportune time to throw a tantrum. I feel the cogs clicking away in my head. And does it rain just in Omnis or all around Kul Anan Giltar when he's in a bad mood? That's entirely up to him. Do all elven aspects have the ability to affect the weather? I can feel his gaze resting on me for a brief period. No. Oh! At least not without the help of spell candles. I raise an eyebrow at the man as he guides us into a turn that leads us out of the basic rocky building district. What are spell candles? It's the name of the game. A few seconds pass by without an answer, and I wonder if the cloak almost seems to grow heavier around me. A way to preserve pure elemental magic. And the magic is released when the candle is burned? Correct. Is that why candles are strewn about this entire city? I spot the smallest switches at the corner of his mouth. Aren't you quite the astute student? I find myself smiling back at him. Our kind light them whenever they require magic they do not naturally possess. The red candles to light the fires at home and warm a room. The blue candles to summon and control water. The effect to which anyone can use these candles depends on their magical ability, of course, but I think you get the gist of it. The curve of his lips softened his features, and for a split second, I found myself staring longer than appropriate. How did the aspects impose control upon candles then? The male beside me raises an eyebrow as the rain continues to avoid hitting his lip features. The more I stare at him, the more I find myself at peace. His calm voice reaches me once more, and I find myself probably just as surprised at his response as he is at my question. Spell candles are a commodity we aim to make available for every household. If we applied any serious control to them, then it would be like rationing the air your people breathe. I'm not sure I understand the comparison. Here we are. The male stopped suddenly and turned towards me, his tall frame towering over me as he lifted his lantern towards the entrance of the Arisen Embassy. Loud percussion, the whistle of a flute, and a mandolin ran through the air, showing that the festivities had begun, and I was late. I'm embarrassed to admit that I was so focused on the intriguing man before me to notice we'd arrived. Thank you. No thank you is necessary, be assured. He motioned for me to go ahead with his free hand, so I just nodded, turned on my heel, and walked into the embassy in a hurry. Whew! Right, okay, I think that's going to be it for this episode. We're going to do more of this later on in the week. I'm hoping to play through all the demo before the end of the Kickstarter, so you guys have a chance to contribute if you're able to. I will personally be putting a donation in for this one myself, because I am really enjoying this, and I want to see this kind of come to full fruition. But, yeah, I'll get the next episode out later on in the week, so keep an eye out for that. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you very, very shortly. Take care, guys.